Good afternoon. I hope we are all doing well in our houses. So, like they used to say, we have to stay home to save lives. So, everything is online now. And I was given a task to report about the Anatomy of Assertiveness by Seaward. This is just a continuation of a continuation from a report, and this is just a two-page report taken from our textbook. So, Anatomy of Assertiveness by Seaward. First thing that we need to know about the anatomy of assertiveness is victimization. What is victimization? How do we know that we are being victimized? Are there floating signs that we are already becoming a victim? First, victimization. This is the process when you become a victim of a certain incident, certain circumstance. And how do you know that you're being a victim? How do you know that you're turning out to be victim or victims? What we need to know is that we are becoming victims when we are being, number one, walked over. Number two is taken advantage of. And number three is not appreciated of our talents and abilities. When we are being walked over, is someone is stepping on us. That's not literally. That's not taken by context, but being walked over means someone is stepping on your rights. Example, you have a right to be sitting peacefully, but then someone in our classroom with no reason at all disturbs you. That's being walked over. For example, you're making your assignment and somebody just grab your pen because she or he needs it. That's being walked over. Taken advantage of. This for the people like me, kind people like me. Well, sometimes we are being taken advantage of because we just give too much. We are selfless. We don't think about ourselves. We are not self-centered. So, oftentimes we are being taken advantage of. So, that's another factor on how you know that you're being a victim, and thus contributes to the product of victimization. And lastly, when you are not appreciated on your talents and abilities. So, that's it. You are good in reporting, but your classmates cannot appreciate your talents, or you're good in drawing, but nobody appreciates you. That's you're becoming a victim. This commonly occurs in houses. Example, ate is industrious, but the the other siblings, they say she is, what do you call that? She does not know anything. So that is the process when she is not appreciated of her talents and abilities. Uh, Pardon because I have here a PowerPoint which will be mixed with the video presentation. So I'll just be looking over here for some keywords, but I'm going to discuss this as elaborately as I can. So that's the process of victimization. Moving on, we have aggressiveness. For example, on this side, you have the victimization when you're becoming the victim. On this side, you have the aggressiveness wherein you are not becoming the victim, but you are the one causing the victimization. So that's aggressiveness. So says conversely, we become aggressive when we are being arrogant, rude, manipulative, and self-centered. So arrogance, this is the exaggeration of one's importance. For example, in a group, let's put it me. I always assert that I am important, that I can survive without other people, that I can I can move on the group project without everybody. So that's arrogance, because I'm asserting that I'm always important. So you you cannot start the group work without me because I'm the most important element in the group. So that's arrogance. But we should refrain from being so arrogant. And another thing that we discussed a while ago is being rudeness. That's being offensive or impolite. Example, your groupmate made something that's, well, let's say, cannot be really appreciated. Something something way below satisfactory. So being rude is, you're going to say that is ugly, that is unacceptable. That's being rude or being impolite. When you can say, classmate, I think we can improve this further. So imagine, so the first one is being rude, saying that's ugly, that's unacceptable, we cannot do this, we cannot submit that because it does not fit on the standard. So that's rudeness. So moving on is the manipulative. These are persons that we discussed a while ago as being taken advantage of. When you're being taken advantage of, you're the victim. However, the one causing the victimization is the manipulative one. He or she is manipulating other person so that maybe for his or her own gain, so that he goes on the top. So people like, they want to shine in the expense of others. So they manipulate feelings, they manipulate movements, because that's the way they know how to shine. Next is another element on being aggressive is the self-centered. These are the self-centered people. They are always like the arrogant ones. Self-centered people, they are always this about themselves only. Example, in a group, he will not go to a certain task if there's nothing for him, for her. Example, in our houses, Kevin, would you please sweep the yard? But I'm going to think, what's in for me if I'm going to sweep the yard? If I have no gain in sweeping the yard, now why will I do it? So that's self-centeredness. Remember, example, they ask me to go to the market and buy certain things, and you go to the market and keep the change. I'm going to the market because I have a gain. That's self-centeredness. So those four elements: arrogance, rudeness, manipulativeness, and self-centeredness. Those four elements borders the level of aggressiveness. Next is, in between victimization and aggressiveness, there is assertiveness. Just imagine, I told you a while ago that on this side, you are a victim in the process of victimization. On this side, you are the aggressive ones. You're causing aggressiveness and thus contributing to the victimization of the other end. Imagine being at the center, right here at the center. At the center is what we call assertiveness. It is the process wherein you assert certain rights, or assert certain styles without causing aggressiveness or not becoming a victim. Just imagine, you're not going to be a victim, but you're not victimizing other people. So moving on, we might think that, why are we talking about victimization? What's victimization and aggressiveness got to do with this topic? So again, we're talking about the anatomy of assertiveness. So like I said a while ago, when you assert your right, you're just in the middle. You're not the victim, you're not the bully. So that's it. We need to talk about victimization so that we know who will become victims and how do you become victim. How do you become a victim? In this, you talk about aggressiveness because we don't want to victimize other people. We just got to go in the middle, and that's to assert what is right. And moving on, in between, like we said, in between, you got to assert. And because we're talking about the anatomy of assertiveness, there's a need to know those elements, the victimization and the aggressiveness. So assertiveness, what does assertiveness mean? I've been talking like for minutes now about assertiveness, but what does assertiveness means? Assertiveness means you're standing for your rights, but in a controlling assertiveness means standing for your rights, but not in a controlling or manipulative manner. It means when I need my classmate, I lent my book to my classmate, and I need that book back. It's just getting back what is mine in a nice way. You just don't say, give me the book back. That's very rude. Because we talked a while ago, we do it not in a rude way. Maybe you can say, I need that book back. So that's assertiveness. I'm asserting that I have a claim. I have a claim on that book, and I want it badly back. So people need to bring it back. To be assertive also means you are acting with conscience. Like I used to say, think before you jump. Imagine if I'm going to say this to my classmate, will it hurt her or his feelings? So that's conscience. We are going 2 steps or maybe 1 step ahead to evaluate if what we're going to say is nice or wrong. So that's being assertive. Conscience plays a big part in assertiveness. It means the balance of freedom and responsibility. You are free to say what you want, but you have a responsibility for the feelings of others. So that's assertiveness. Now, we have here an example. It says, example, something belongs to you and you are being taken and are being taken by somebody. This is where you assert that thing is yours. Example, we have an example of a book earlier, but example, on a wider scope, somebody grabbed my bicycle, and I know it's my bicycle. You know, bicycle, they don't have registration like cars and motorcycles, but I know it's my bicycle, so I have to assert that it's mine. So how do I assert that's mine? I'm saying, hey, give it back or suffer it. No, it's being rude. So being assertive means you just assert that that thing is yours. This thing is mine. You cannot get it. You cannot take it home. You cannot touch it. Yes, in a very nice way, not in a controlling, not in a manipulative way. So I'm going to say to that someone, hey, that is my bicycle. Can you please get away from it and don't take it away from where it is. So that's being assertive. So says here, assertiveness is simply taking back what is yours without taking something from others. So how do I put these are mine. So if someone gets it from my shelf, someone gets it from my shelf, and I need it back, I'm just going to take it back in a nice way. But in the process, the other someone, he or she did not lose anything, because certainly I'm just taking back what is mine. So that's assertiveness. You assert your right that certain thing belongs to you, and you're not victimizing other by taking that from them. So please take note that assertiveness is the epitome of a well-balanced ego. Or we can say that the epitome of assertiveness is a well-balanced ego. So, moving on, we got there. Acts of assertiveness requires fair amount of diplomacy, humility, and grace. So, again, that's DHG. Diplomacy, humility, and grace. So, let's discuss it further. What is diplomacy? Diplomacy is the art of dealing with people in a sensitive or effective way. You might have heard of diplomatic protests against certain countries. Let me put it this way. The Philippines have filed a diplomatic protest against blank certain country. So, we hear that often in the news, like just a week ago, the Philippines filed a diplomatic protest against a big country here in Asia. So, that's diplomacy. It's dealing with people in a sensitive and effective ways. Like you are asserting something, but in a nice way. So that's diplomacy. Anything over so that take note that anything over diplomacy will be aggressive. So I got to assert my rights in a diplomatic way. So let's get back to the bicycle. If I asserted my right in a diplomatic way, it will be like this. You are stealing my property. Please bring it back. So there will be no commotion if the other party choose the right thing to do. But then this will be aggressive. Another part, an example of aggressiveness, give me my bike back or suffer the consequence. That statement is not diplomatic. Moving on is, we got humility. Humility says here is a modest way or humbleness. Humility is being humble, like that's getting back to the bike again. That's my only property. Can you please leave it alone? So example, you have other bikes too, or you have cars too, but then you assert your diplomacy in a very humble way. That's my only property. Can you please not touch it? Can you please leave it alone? So you did it with humility. Moving on is that grace. Grace is a refined or elegant way. When we say elegant, something elegance bordering the royal or the pedigree way. So elegant or refined. Let's just dwell with refined. It means refined. And this is refined, on the other side that's rough. So they are exactly reverse. So when you are refined, you move with weight, and when you are rough, you just move the way you want to move. So grace means refined. Your words are chosen carefully, so that will be with grace. So example like that, on the bike, you chose the words carefully, you think over it maybe once or thrice, so that you do not hurt the other party while asserting your right. So that's grace. I have here a scenario. A partner, so this is common for us here in the college. A partner is striving to finish their research paper, but the other is working, while the other one is not working. How will the working individual assert the right to solicit the cooperation from the other? So usually when we get angry to our partner, hey, gawin mo to o tanggalin kita, di ba? We say that to our partner. So that's something bordering the aggressive side. On the other side, when we just want to assert, maybe we can say, hey, please, I need your talent so that we can finish our research paper. So see, it's not so hard after all, isn't it? You're being assertive, but in a nice way. Not causing trouble, not causing hurt. You're not You're not causing discomfort. You're not causing emotional instability to the other person. So that's assertiveness. Moving on, in another scenario, I have here another scenario. It says group members of a dance club decided to unwind after a tiring day of practice. So they had a long day of practice and then they decided to unwind, maybe take a snack or go someplace. And then it says here, how will Dina, who does not drink alcoholic beverages, assert that she does not want the drink offered to her? So Dina was not drinking alcoholic beverages, was maybe offered a drink not only once but maybe twice, thrice, four times. So how will she assert that she does not drink alcoholic beverages? Perhaps she is health conscious, or it's under religion. Their religion does not permit their members to drink liquor, or maybe she just do not want to drink liquor at all for a reason, for a personal reason that she only knows. So how will she assert assertiveness? So if you are Dina, come to think of it, how will you say no without hurting the other person? So you got to assert that you don't want to drink a liquor. You can say, please stop offering me alcoholic beverages. I do not drink liquor. Or stop offering me alcoholic beverages, or I'm going to walk out of here. Well, let's move on. And so we get back to Dina later, because I think the topics up ahead will answer the question. So it says here that assertiveness means we also know how to separate rights and privileges. So we have gone to our Philippine Constitution. You have rights and you have privileges. Example, your right to live peacefully in your home that's called right. Liberty to right to domicile, if I remember it correctly, or that's liberty to abode. Either way, it's either of the two. So that's right. It's your right not to be disturbed by anyone once you're in your home, and no one can dictate you what you're going to do in your private property. So that is right. While on the other hand, you got privileges. Getting a driver's license based on the Philippine Constitution, it's a privilege. The Land Transportation Office or the Department of Transportation can deny that privilege. So, right, it's absolute na. This is my right. You cannot take it away from me. This is my human right. This is my property right. That's right. And the privilege, it can be granted or can be taken away from you. So, like here, art school. It's true that it is our right to attend to a tertiary school, to a high-class tertiary school. It's our right, or it's our right to choose which school are we going to. But getting high grades, that's a privilege. It can be given or can be taken by our instructors, our professors. So, first, in assertiveness, we need to know what are rights and what are privileges. So, like I said ago, right, it's absolute. That's yours. No one can take it away from you. So, that is right. On the other hand, the privilege, it can be taken with or without your consent. So, let's move on. It says here, rights fall under the domain of being treated with respect. So, it got to be treated with respect. So, I have to respect the rights of my classmates. So, that's absolute. That's absolute. I have no other choice than to treat them with respect, because it's their right. While in privilege, as it says here, may not be expected by anyone. So, I have here an example of right. It says here, right to territory and property. Like I said ago in the example in the Philippine Constitution, it's the right to territory and property. So that's your right. No one can take that property away from you, and no one can dictate you what to do on that property. I have here also an example about privilege. Privilege may, as it says, may not be expected by anyone. Example, you seek permission to pass on a certain lot, the lot of your neighbor. You say, "Hello, howdy uncle, can I pass in your yard?" Your neighbor may grant permission or may not grant you permission. It depends upon him. So that's privilege. So as the vast world becomes a small global village, imagine a wide world that's now becoming small because of globalization, internet, and other lots of things. Because it's during my childhood, it is uncommon to see a foreigner walking just there. When you see a foreigner, oh my god, that's a foreigner. It's my first time to see a foreigner like that. But now, the world is becoming a small global village. Means it's normal seeing African American walking down the street, going to the market. It's a common scenario seeing Filipinos marrying foreigners. So the world is becoming a small global village, and many of our expectations go unmet, and tempers flare as a result. Always remember that the anatomy of assertiveness are composed of three elements. Again, that's HGD: humility, diplomacy, and grace. Or it does not come in order, but that's humility, grace, and diplomacy. Always remember that. That's the anatomy of assertiveness. Moving on is that how do we incorporate assertiveness? So we always go into certain scenarios when we need to assert our assertiveness, and we need to master this assertiveness for us to learn the wisdom when do we say yes or when do we say no. So the mastery of assertiveness needs fine-tuning. It's a balance between freedom and responsibility, as we have mentioned a while ago. It's a balance. So how do we incorporate assertiveness in our daily lives? Because we might not know after this video presentation, I or you might not need to assert your rights, or you might need to practice assertiveness. So first, learn to say no. When this is hard for me, it's hard because sometimes I just can't say no. But see, when you're asked for anything that you feel not capable, or you feel like you don't want to do it, just say no. Flat no. Sorry, no. I don't like it. Like Dina a while ago. She was offered alcoholic beverages for maybe 4 times, 5 times. So she got to assert that, sorry, no, I don't drink alcoholic beverages. And even when you initially said yes to certain circumstances, example, hey classmate, can I please ask you to make this lesson plan for me? When you already said yes, and then later you found out that you have many things to do too. So initially you have already said yes. You can always go back and say, excuse me classmate, I know that I already said yes a while ago, but I just found out that I need to do many things. I'm sorry, I cannot take the class. So that's saying no. Moving on is that the use of I statements. Example here is, I am deeply upset. There's the existence of I. By using the word I, I claim ownership over certain things, thoughts, or feelings. Example here, I am deeply upset. Upset, I have delivered that I am upset, and that upset feeling is mine, not yours, not everybody else but mine. So, going back to the scenario where Dina and her group mates in the dance troupe, maybe she can say, I am deeply upset that you have offered me alcoholic beverages for 4 times already. So, Dina owned the feeling that she's upset, and she can otherwise follow it with, sorry, I don't drink alcoholic beverages. So, in that scenario, Dina has already asserted her her right, or her he used assertiveness to decline from taking the drink. Moving on is number 3, use eye contact. Always use eye contact to people when you talk to them, because you will be understood when you look back, when you look at the eyes of people. They say when people lie, they likely look at their toes, or maybe look up or look side. So maybe that's one thing, but people will understand you better if you look at them straight in the eyes. Some even say that your souls are the one conversing when you look each other in the eye. So there will, whenever there will be lies, it will be caught right in the eyes. So your souls are the one doing the talking. So always remember that you look people in the eyes. 4, use assertive body language. Like for example, using the arms. Stop. Don't come a step closer to me. The existence of my hand is a gesture that you need to stop. It's an urgent that you need to stop, as in right there. In number 4, you can also use your feet. I'm sorry that I cannot stand to demonstrate it. Maybe I can find pictures to demonstrate it, but you can also use your feet for a stance or strong or weak position. Using your feet, example, by the position of your feet, the other party knows that you're in a fight or flight scenario. So, using assertive body language, like I used to say, stop, don't do it, don't come closer to me. So that's assertiveness. I asserted that I don't want you come anywhere near to me, and my gesture just stressed on the thought that you don't want to be going anywhere near me. Surfing the net, I found a table about examples of assertiveness, but it's the pros and cons, like it's a balance. On the left column is the aggressiveness, on the right column is the assertiveness, but I only already took the assertiveness. So, example of assertiveness, you express your need clearly but respectfully. On the other hand, this is different from forcing your needs or your opinions toward others. Example, I lent my phone to someone and I need it back. I need my phone back. That's assertiveness. I did it in a strong stance but in a respectful manner. Or, I need my phone back. Please give it to me. I asserted that if you look at it, I use the word I. So, I own the thought that I need the phone back and please give it back to me. And it's different to give it back. So, see, there's a difference. The first one is using assertiveness, and the other is just saying a thought that you should give it back. Next is treat treat others with respect. So you need this is treating others with respect is different from being the bully, wherein you bully someone or you push around someone. For example, you need to pass on a certain hallway and people are clustered there together. Example, in our lobby, you need to pass. You can say, excuse me, I need to pass. You asserted the need to pass while doing it in a polite manner. While it's different in get out of my way, I need to pass. Or get out of my way, I'm going to pass. So that's those two examples are different. So you always treat others with respect. If you want respect, they say respect begets respect. That's a moral lesson from a fable that I have read somewhere. So always remember that respect begets respect. If you want to be respected, treat other people with respect. Next, assertiveness often use compromise. Compromise. You have an agreement. On the other hand, being aggressive has no compromise. Example, you need to make certain person do something for you. You can say, do this for me and I will buy you. If you think of it, that's a little bit manipulative, but it's a nice way. You want the certain person to do something for you, but there's a compromise. In doing a certain thing, you compromise to buy something. On the other hand, when you say, do this or, example, do this or suffer the consequences, that's a different thing. So, that is assertiveness, often compromise. Next is the assertiveness strengthens relationship. Maybe you might get puzzled on how can assertiveness strengthens relationship. So you see, on the aggressive side, it damages relationships. Just imagine, let's get back to the research paper. On the research paper, you need your partner to act. You need your partner to do things that she's not doing. You need your partner to perform. Imagine on the assertive side. Please, let us do this now. You did it in a nice way, but you're asserting that you need to do it now, not later, as in today, this time, this hour, this minute, this second. On the other hand, on the aggressive side, you'll say, we do this or you'll be sorry. There's a threat lingering on the last part of the sentence. We do this or you'll be sorry. So that's the aggressive side. So another thing is assertiveness use clear language to get the point across. While on the aggressive side, they are using shouting or physicality. Imagine using a clear language like that. Please let us do this now. This will be due next week. While on the aggressive side, you shout at your partner like, do this or you fail. Do this or I'm striking your name off our research paper. So imagine there's a threat. So assertiveness that does not need threat. You can assert the right, you can assert the needs, you can assert what you want, you can give opinions without hurting other people's feelings. So that's my report. A simple recap. So assertiveness, it is a thin line between aggressiveness and victimization. You don't want to become a victim, you don't want to become the bully. So just got the middle, so it's being assertive. And assertiveness, they're there are three elements of assertiveness. In the anatomy of assertiveness, we have three elements: diplomacy, humility, and grace. And how to incorporate assertiveness, a short recap: learn to say no, number one. Number two, use I statements. Number three, use eye contact. Number four, use assertive body language, like the hands. Remember? Hey, and in the express your needs clearly but respectfully. Treat others with respect. Compromise. Make a compromise if you need someone to do things to you. And assertiveness strengthens relationships. Uses clear language to get the point across. And it also builds self-esteem. So there you have it, a short recap of my report. So I hope you understood something, because I think we're going to make a reflection paper after watching videos or maybe reading our PowerPoint presentation. So I'm just going to leave the video here and I'm going to send the PowerPoint presentation. So here are my references. It's most of it's taken from Brian Seaward in 2006, Managing Stress. All the photos are credited to Google, and this healthwa.wa.gov, I got something from that. Maybe the things at the later part of the PowerPoint there from that address. So bye guys, I hope you learned something, and remember, stay home, save lives, and thank you.